Peace world, it's your man Confidence, back at it again. It's been a couple years since the last time I dropped a beat making video, but today I want to do something a little different. I'm not going to go through all the sounds I chopped up and layered and whatnot. What I'm really trying to accomplish is give people out there a different type of insight into how to make a beat, how to look for the sample, and not to pass up stuff just because it's been used before. That's the main idea behind this. So really all we're going to do is get into the original, kind of reference that, and then break that down just a little bit, and then just play my version of it and show people out there that there's more ways than one to skin a cat. There's more ways than one to make a beat. And so I'm trying to pass along that inspiration to the people out there today. Alright, so we're going to get into the original sample. It's actually used by the Beat Miners on the Brace for Impact album. Just came across it randomly the other day, and you know, I was like, well, okay, cool, it's got some sounds in the beginning, you know, for the main part that maybe I could chop up and do my own version with. But as I kept going, you know, that really wasn't the case. I really couldn't jack those sounds the way I wanted to. So what did I do? I kept going through the songs, lots of different change-ups and stuff like that. So we're going to play that for you, and then we're going to break it down a little bit further, alright? So here's the program I use. Nothing special, nothing fancy. That's been my MO all these years anyway. So it's not about that. It's really about the music in your ears. So let's talk about the track. So again, this joint was sampled by the Beat Miners on the Brace for Impact album, probably going back a good 10 years or so at this point. So we're going to play it, and we're going to talk a little bit about it. Alright? Alright, so all that was the intro, you know, and as you can see here above, I started chopping up the sounds in the intro because I was like, alright, well, you know, I'm not finding anything right at the moment. I like the sounds, you know, I know it's been used. And so, you know, here's some of the chops. But as I was telling you earlier that I wasn't really able to use these in my foundation, you know, for a strong foundation. So I really didn't use any of these sounds. But as you can see, you know, the song's pretty long. And I'm just going to kind of cut a lot of this in here in this section, a lot of singing and, you know, instrumentation, but all together. But then it kind of breaks off right after this part and kind of quiets down again. I want to show you that piece. And then it goes back into the same, you know, repetition with the singing. So the moral of the story right here is, if you can see above, I took a lot of chops out of this beat. Alright, nothing really in here, but then with that other section I just played, you can see I took a lot of pieces out of there. And so what I'm trying to convey with all this is that it really doesn't matter who sampled it and what they did to it, because back in the day, or back years ago, it really was a looping society. You know what I'm saying? And so nowadays, people aren't really looping that much anymore. And if they are looping, they're probably not, the sounds probably aren't really where they need to be. So you can get a lot more variation and creativity from just taking sounds and manipulating those sounds and having them do what you want to do. Back then, you know, like someone like DJ Premier, you know, my theory is, you know, he started out looping too early on, but I think he stopped looping because of the sample clearance issues. Like, he was trying to avoid clearing samples, so he came up with a different style that allowed him to chop up stuff and make it unrecognizable, so maybe he didn't have to clear those samples. In my evolution, it wasn't about that, obviously, because I ain't putting out albums like that, you know, to the masses. But for me, it was just an evolution of I'm kind of bored with looping sounds. I want to step up my creativity to the next level. And it just so happened, you know, taking sounds and chopping it up like him was something that I started doing as well. So I'm going to play you my version of this beat and show you that you can do more with what you're given, not just taking it for face value. All right, so we're back on the MPC. I'm going to play you my version. I'm also going to play you the other sounds I added over the foundation because, you know, when you're chopping up, you know, depending on what you're trying to accomplish, you're going to have fragmented sounds, but you can fill that in with layers, you know, when you're creating a hook or throwing it over the verse, you know, just to add some variety. So I'm going to play you my entire song that I did, but it all starts with the joint we just played, you know, on the computer on acid. All right, so here it goes. Alright, so that's the beat. And one thing I'm just going to show you with it is that I took two sounds that weren't in the beginning but were played in the beginning, just played later on in the original song, which are... That's it. Those are the only two sounds that work with me as like a potential turnaround for the beat. And then so it just went, you know, sounds that were later on in the track. And that's it, you know. But what really separates it is, you know, having that strong foundation, but then getting those strong layers to put over that foundation to make it a complete beat. All right, so at the end of the day, if you hear a song that's been sampled, first of all, that's a good thing because someone else had a good ear and they found a good sound. So go through that track and see what else is in there. Maybe they didn't take all the good parts, especially if you're cutting stuff up. You're going to have more opportunity to find some extra sounds that already sound good for the most part that allow you to work and construct that beat, you know, that solid beat. All right, so that's all we're going to do today. I hope everybody appreciated what I did out here today. And remember, don't ever settle when it comes to making beats. If that shit don't bang to you, there's a good chance it ain't going to bang to someone else. All right, remember that. Peace.